Jesse,
Huh?
you were sleep fishing again.
What? Oops. Hi, Jesse here with Wait Up Fly Fishing. Today we're going to be doing a little fly tying. We're going to be tying up one of my personal favorite nymphs, the patch rubber legs. This is a great stone fly pattern that is known to fool some of the biggest fish in the river. And we're going to be showing you some great techniques and tricks on how to make a long-lasting, durable fly. And if you like what you see, make sure that you mash that like button and subscribe so we're able to bring you more content and videos in fly fishing. Stay tuned, we're going to be right back at our flying tying desk. Okay folks, here we have some materials outlined for our patch rubber legs nymph. We'll be using some of these silly legs here they sell at the Sportsman's Warehouse from Wapsi. I like to use the black with the red flakes. But I do sometimes use the green if I feel like I need a black rubber legs with the green legs. Sometimes we run into those kind of picky fish. And we'll be using the small chenille in black. I typically use medium, but I ran out of that, and all I'm left with is the small, so we'll be using that, and it should do just fine. Then we're going to be putting our fly together with the number 6 streamer hook, part of the U series from Umpqua. It's U302. I like to get these because they come in a 50 pack, and you usually get them for about $5 or $6, and they do a pretty good job of stabbing the fish in the mouth. So we're gonna put all this together and make us a great fly. Okay, so now that we have our hook and the vise, we're gonna start by just putting on a little thread here, kind of get it going. We're using some simple UTC 6/0 thread here. It'll be big enough to kind of do what we need. But just kind of let down a little thread base here, kind of get started. Haven't really experimented with other sizes. I've kind of either gone really big or really small, but you know, for the purposes of this fly, it's not really a small fly, so you can kind of, there's a lot of room for error here. But we're going to start off with tying in some of this chenille here. Get yourself a good piece. You think it's going to be the right size for the fly, because this is a smaller diameter. The last thing you want to do is run out. So we're just going to go ahead and tie that in here. Tie it up pretty good. Kind of go around it a little bit if you think you want to secure it some more. Whatever's your prerogative. I've gone and pre-cut some of these silly legs to the right size, because I try to be careful about how much I use. So we're going to tie in the I guess it would be the tail part of the fly here. So we're just going to kind of get in here and just lay it over the top of the hook and kind of just fold it down on either side, come along here with our thread, lock it in, and I try not to be too concerned about which way these are pointing. When this thing's floating through the water, the fish aren't particularly picky. They're just excited that they see this big meal floating down the river. So we're just going to start off here with the side legs. We're just going to kind of do the same thing and work our way down the side and get these secured in. Now, I do like to have them kind of point out a little bit, you know, to the side, straight out from the sides instead of just whichever way they want. Because I've found that tying this can be a little difficult if these are pointing all pointing the wrong direction. So, but you don't want to spend too much time on the direction of these legs because well, there's a few to tie, and if you're like me, you tend to lose some of these out on the bank, and you don't want to be spending all day tying up a fly. So I kind of got to set one across here like this. And do a little figure eight here. Just kind of lock it in good. I don't think I've ever had one of these come off while I was fishing with it, but they only do break. You kind of have to be careful with these legs. You don't pull them too tight because they will break off. Just going to kind of work our way down the fly. Now this fly, you know, when I first started tying it, I always put some lead wraps on there, some lead-free wraps, because I was under the impression that it had to be weighted. And I suppose if that's your style, you can always do that. But you know, the more I fished it and the more I bought from the fly shop when I was too busy to tie, I realized none of those were weighted, so I just kind of went with that. And it's okay if you have some that are just sticking straight up. It's not that big of a deal. And then we're just going to kind of tie in the, I guess it'd be the antenna or the horns or whatever you want to call it on this fly. But this fly does a fantastic job fooling those trout. I like to use it on, you know, a lot of these freestone streams here in the Boise area. And I've managed to catch a few fish on that South Fork of the Boise, which is a heavily fished Prima Donna River. All those fish, super smart, really hard to catch. But, you know, they see this stonefly imitation floating down the river, they kind of don't hesitate. So, like I said, I don't really spend too much time trying to get these to go the way I want because they're going to look all kind of squiggly and such on the river. So, I'm just going to start wrapping our chenille down the hook shank here. And just kind of gotta make sure you have some good coverage. You don't want to be seeing that hook shank through the chenille. I've done that before, and kind of fish might take it, but it's not very good. And, kind of drives me crazy when I look in the fly box and I see those messed up flies. So just kind of go easy here. And sure enough, as you do this, you're gonna end up changing the direction of these legs anyway. So like I said, it's not a huge deal which way they're pointing because the fish don't really care. Now there's different, you know, you can go to the fly shop and get these, but I found in the summertime when everyone's out fishing with these flies, sometimes they can be kind of hard to get your hands on. So I kind of prefer to tie up a whole bunch and get these things tied up, and you'll be all set to go out on the river as long as you got the materials you need. So, but there's a lot of different variations. You know, a lot of fly shops will throw on some beads and whatnot. Now I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this around a couple times here, lock this, the end of this chenille in here. That way it's not going anywhere. Come in there. Gotta cut that down a little bit more. Blend in some now. Wrap this a couple more times here. This is those fish, they get kind of antsy when they see this thing floating down the river, so they can be pretty hard on them. So we're just going to give it a few turns here with a whip finish. Make sure it's good locked in. We don't want this thing coming apart. You never know how many you're going to be using out on the river, and give it a couple times here. I like to do mine a little too much sometimes, but really not a lot to this fly. Once you get the legs down, you're in pretty good shape. So that looks pretty good there. So what I like to do, I don't really use the head cement. I haven't done that for a long time, but I use the UV Finish resin from Loom. That does a pretty good job. And I just put a little dab on here. The only complaint I have about this resin is after these things sit in your fly box for a while, it gets a little cloudy, but I don't know, the fish don't really care. In fact, I kind of think it looks more like a shuck when that happens. So we're going to take our UV torch here and give it a little torch. I got to kind of on my torch here. Just give it some hits with the light. Doesn't take very long. Now you'll want to, vary the hook size on this fly to kind of meet the demands of your current river that you're taking them to, because you never know what you're going to run into and, go off to a different place. So sometimes you get to have a little variety, but I usually just fish this as a size 6. I've done a size 10, but I've kind of found the size 10 is a little too small, and I like to leave my legs a little long. I have tied some of these with short legs, and the fish just seem to ignore them a little bit. And when you get them in the fly shop, they're all really long and all kinds of stuff. Now, I mean, if you're real fancy, I suppose you can tie a little knot in these legs to kind of give it a bend, but I said those fish don't really care. It's a simple fly. It does magic out on the river. And if you like what you've seen today, make sure. Well, thank you folks for spending a little time with us at White Up Fly Fishing as we've gone over tying one of the greatest flies, the Patch Rubber Legs nymph. We're going to be listing the ingredients for this fly in the description, so you'll be able to tie up dozens and dozens of your own. And make sure you like and subscribe if you like what you've seen today. And we'll see you again soon with another fly fishing video here at White Up Fly Fishing.